Welcome and thank you for joining me. Today we've got, I was wanting to talk a little bit about home ownership in Canada and how difficult it is to purchase a property in today's market. It's nice to know that we've got three of the insurers in Canada that help people help ownership of people to buy new properties and create a new home. Sagen, formerly known as Genworth, is the largest and the number one insurer in Canada. And I have Ivy here that I'd like to introduce you to, who I've known for several years. Ivy has been in the industry since 2010, I believe, so 20 years, just a little bit more than myself. So Ivy, I know we've known each other for a long time. When we did meet, the one thing I do know is that you're always willing to share information and you're always willing to educate, which is why I have you on today. So I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to speak with me and to the audience, to all of our listeners and all the viewers on how we can help new homeowners get into the market with the least amount of money down.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. I'm so excited to be here. And like you mentioned, training and education is a really big piece of what Sagen does that sets us apart in the industry. So I'm glad we can have a conversation today.
Fantastic. And thanks again for joining. With just for the viewers, an insurer here in Canada as Sagen, I'll let you speak a little bit about, who is Sagen and what is it that, Sagen does for new homeowners and the advantages around it. I like to speak a lot to people new that are coming into the country. I know there's a lot of cool programs. There's like New to Canada. You've got Purchase Plus Improvements. You've got different programs for people in terms of how they file their income if they're business for self and they have their own companies. There's a lot of cool products that you guys programs and products that you have that I personally feel for over the last 17 years, not a lot of people are really privy to it unless they have someone like you and I that they can go to. So if you can just share a little bit about, somebody coming into the country, like maybe we can start there, the challenges and the best way that they can kind of get into the market and just a few tips as to what the requirements would be for someone like that coming into the country.
Yeah, and what an important demographic when you think about, Canada over the next couple years and how many new immigrants we're looking to welcome into our country. I mean, that number is well over 1 million as it stands today. So our New to Canada program really allows for those customers to achieve that dream of homeownership as they're settling their roots in Canada. So our program allows for these applicants to put down as little as a 5% down payment from their own saved resources to get into the market sooner. And this applies to customers who are new to the country. So, if they've got that 9 SIN number, that's okay with us. We understand they're just looking to settle here and get into the market sooner than later. So this is a really popular product.
Yeah, and then tell me about the 9. Like a lot of people don't even know what the 9 means. I kind of have my own way of tweaking it, but I'd love to hear it from you.
Yeah. I mean, it's that non-permanent resident, right? You're here in Canada, you have a valid work permit, but that 9 SIN number is usually an indication that someone's, taking that journey to get PR and they're just not there yet. And that's okay for Sagen under this program, as long as they've been in Canada for less than 5 years.
Right. And within those 5 years, they have access to the New to Canada program, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Good. And then they also would need to have same credit requirements, but I know on the credit side, there's other alternative sources that we can use for down payment, for example, or for their credit, like an alternative source. And then, of course, income, to ensure that they pass their 3 months probation. We now know that they can qualify to purchase that property and they can close on it successfully.
Totally. Yeah, that's kind of the beauty of the program, right? We recognize they won't have an established Equifax or TransUnion credit bureau in Canada. So we allow that option for them to provide an alternative credit source.
Which is fantastic. I think it helps so much. A lot of people don't really know, which is why I'm glad, again, you're here today to share. But for all the viewers, having a 9 social, starting with your social insurance number As long as you've got your PR card, which is a permanent residence card in order to be in Canada, only then can you apply for a mortgage and go through the process. The PR card usually takes about how long, you would say?
You know what? Well, we allow that 5 years because that's what we found. It usually takes that long. I know it used to be 3 years that we allowed customers to be in the country for, and we extended it to 5 years a little while ago. So, yeah, as long as you get your PR within those 5 years, that seems to be okay for the guidelines generally. But, we see a lot of new customers to Canada who've only been here a year, for example.
Yeah. And, maybe you can highlight this point here as well. I've noticed a lot of times when people come in, they're not really educated on, the process of purchasing a home and the requirements and what's involved and, how to really get started. I notice a lot of times that when I do speak with first-time new to Canada buyers, a lot of them, 50% of them at least, will say, oh, I wish I knew that I needed that credit card, or, I would have applied for it as soon as I got here, but nobody really told me what to do. So, the alternative source of credit that we use in replacement of that credit card is definitely helpful for that new buyer coming in to purchase that property.
For sure.
But yes, I know there's a lot of other different programs that you have available, but new to Canada is new. I thought we'd share a little bit about that topic only because, like you said, we've got over 1 million new immigrants coming into the country. There's already a shortage of homes in our market today. When they come into our country, where are they going to live? Where are they going to go? Who do they reach out to? Which is why I think, having Sagen as part of our partners is definitely advantageous for myself and assisting anyone new coming into the country. And just for all of our listeners, whether you're a real estate agent, a mortgage agent, or you're in the industry, Sagen is always here. You can always go to their website at any given time for any additional information on any other products and programs that are available. We're just highlighting a few here for you today. And another big one, Ivy, that I noticed in my business especially, I deal with a lot of investors that like to purchase multiple properties. And, for that original homeowner, when purchasing a home, a lot of these homes are now dated, meaning that there need to be some renovations involved. You might need to fix up the kitchen, renovate the bathrooms, the more important pieces of the home that, the kitchen specifically, because that's where everyone goes when you're having a party, right? So there's a really, really good program that I've been using for years. And this was one of the programs that really helped me kickstart my business when I got into it over 15 years ago, which is the Purchase Plus Improvement Program. I'll let you take the hand as to how you can summarize it and what the advantages around it, and I'll tap in after.
Yeah, Chris, I think you hit the nail on the head that it's popular given our market today. And, I like to share the example that, it's not very likely that you're going to get into your car on a sunny Saturday afternoon and go house shopping and, find your dream house as is. In this market, that doesn't really seem to happen any longer. So maybe you find a house in a neighborhood or on a street that you really, really like, and, maybe it needs a little bit of work. And, when we think about purchase plus improvements, we think about doing renovations to a home that's really going to add market value. So like Chris, you mentioned, new kitchen, new bathroom, new roof, things like that. The beauty of the program is that the customers can actually finance those costs for renovation within the mortgage payment, so that after they close, they can have one manageable monthly mortgage payment with the renovation costs included. And it really eliminates that need for the customer to have to go out after closing, get an unsecured line of credit to help fund renovations. And we all know how high the interest rates can be on those unsecured lines. So this program is really, really complimentary to customers who are looking at purchasing a home that just needs a little bit of updating.
That program, like the funds itself, you go up to a certain limit, right? There's only a certain dollar amount that you can go up to.
Yeah, usually, I mean, most lenders have a maximum that's around that $40,000 mark. But, it's really important that, of course, when all of your customers are working with you, Chris, or any mortgage professional who's tuning in, make sure you confirm, with the individual lender that you're working with, how high they can go in terms of that dollar amount. But usually it's around that 40K.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the times, when people get the money, there, one of the other things that pop up is, how do we get this money? Like, do we get it at the beginning? Do we get it at the end? What happens in between? When do we get that contractor, and when can we actually start the renovations? I think a good, other aspect of it is there's a time frame involved, right? I think that it's 90 days. You have 90 days to complete the work, and within that 90-day period, an appraiser will come in. They'll check off to confirm that all the renovations have been complete, and the lawyer at that point will release the funds so they can pay out their contractors. And the reason why I focus on this is because that's one of the main concerns that contractors have. So if there's a contractor listening to us, know that the money is secured with the lawyer. It's held in trust. The money will be released as soon as the work is complete. So the faster the job is done, the faster the money gets released, which is also nice, and gives the contractor some sort of sense of security to know that they are going to get paid, and it's not like that they're going to lose any money on the job. But getting into it, there's a quote that needs to be put together, correct?
Yeah, I mean, your lender will likely ask for a quote. So say you're doing a new kitchen, it's going to cost you $30,000. You'll need to get a quote for exactly what you're looking to do. Mm-hmm. And each lender will have their own internal process as to how they, what kind of documents they'll need to support that. The great thing about Sagen is that, we may need the quote, and if we do, we'll work with your lender on that to determine the value and follow our regular underwriting practice. So the collaborative approach really between Sagen, the lender, and the broker is really great. And that's part of the reasons why you and I work together so well, Chris, is, there's always that open communication around process.
Yeah, and thank you for all of your support. I have to say, I know I call you sometimes at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I know you always are working just as much as we are. So thank you for all of your support. It does go a long way.
Thank you.
But with respect to the improvements, what improvements are eligible? I think that might be good for someone who's looking to purchase a property. And, if there's a few things that they can check off, what would you highlight to be under the program and what the guidelines allow?
Yeah, I get this question a lot, so I'm glad we're talking about this. So I want everyone to think about items that are going to improve marketability to that property. So common things: kitchens, bathrooms, flooring, painting, new roofing. Those are sort of what we tend to see. Those are going to add and improve market value and marketability to your property. Important to avoid any improvements that are very large or structural in nature. Those are sort of outside of the spirit of the program. But if you have something that's basic, like anything that's going to update your house and make it a little bit more marketable, that's something we're looking for.
How long is that permit how long is like the maximum improvement, I should say?
How much you mean in terms of dollar value?
No, just in terms of like the time, like if it goes into 90 days, I know a lot of like during the pandemic now, like we've had to have extensions, on the improvements because of shortage of products and, contractors being delayed and so forth. So, within that 90 days, it's nice that we can extend it to, with exception, of course, to 120 days. Are you seeing that a lot?
Yeah, that's actually a lender guideline. On the
lender side, yeah.
So Sagen doesn't really have that guideline, but I mean, work with your lenders and they'll be able to, if there's an exception to be made, given, some of the shortages of materials we're facing, then they'll be able to walk that through with you. Yeah,
that's awesome. And in terms of, I know a lot of people getting into the market, it's challenging, like with people losing their jobs, and, a lot of people I find are starting their own businesses, right? They're taking all their talents and they're saying, well, here's what we're good at. Let's focus on it. Let's put it out to the universe, and, let's ensure that, they've got the time to build their business and they have the right people to support. But with that being said, I'm seeing a lot of people who are moving out of the corporate world into the business world that are now have to pay themselves a little differently, where they're not getting that hourly paycheck or that salary that they're guaranteed for the year. Now, I know there's a program out there for people who are starting their own businesses. I'd love for you to share a little bit of how someone who starts their own business, how they can continue to purchase their first property and possibly their second, third, and fourth.
For sure. This is a hot topic these days. It seems like a lot of folks are choosing that route to become business for self. So Sagen has a program that we call our Business for Self program. It's oftentimes referred to in our industry as the Alternative A program as well. I like to call it our BFS program, so Business for Self. And this really accommodates for customers who have that business for self type employment, who have a cash component to their business. And that's the type of borrower that we're looking for under this program. So you think about customers who are either in a incorporated type business, a partnership, or a sole proprietorship. They've been doing it for at least 2 years. And they're in that industry where they're making some type of cash component. So for example, maybe someone who's a contractor. We were just talking about contractors with Purchase Plus. There's an opportunity for them to do some jobs and collect some cash for payment. Even somebody who's maybe, a hairdresser or hairstylist. Again, there's that opportunity for cash component. And those are the types of borrowers that we look for under this Business for Self program.
Is it challenging? Like, is there anything you can tell? Is bank statement something they need to do? Is setting up their, the accounting side of it? Like, what is it that someone should look for when they are looking to take advantage of this program?
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, is there like a secret formula for calculating income under this program? And there's not. And that's why the program is really quite unique and attractive to a lot of brokers and lenders, is that it's a true holistic review of the business. So what Sagen will do is, we will assess reasonability of stated income based on a number of factors. So what type of business is it? What line of work are they in? Do they have employees? Do they have a storefront? Where is the business located? How much do they market or advertise? Are they a business to business type business, or are they business to consumer? Lots of different factors. Every file is different. And that's where Sagen's underwriting team will really, really come in handy for everybody, because each deal is looked at case by case. Does it make sense based on that individual customer and their business?
And the better way, I think, is more so of deposits going into the account, or is it what they T4 themselves at the end of the year? Does that matter when you're looking at this?
So on the insured side for this program, we won't ask for those documents. What we will ask for is the most recent year's line 150 NOA figure. And really that's going to help us better understand, what did they claim and what are they stating for income? And that's sort of a baseline that we'll use to assess that reasonability. But, we're not going to be asking for bank statements or any of that type of information to help assess that reasonability.
Yeah, so for anyone that's looking to get into the program, it is definitely a great program to opt into. There is a lot of other, details that we can kind of help you with putting that package together. But Sagen is really where we want to go to make sure that we can get these deals done. I know you also tap into a little bit on with Business for Self. I know a lot of people are looking for commercial/residential properties as well, where they can operate out of their business on the ground floor, for example, and be able to live on the upper unit. So a lot of those types of properties are starting to come people's way who are in the industry and who do want to get into Business for Self. But is there a challenge, do you think? Like, is there a difference, the rental income component of it? Is there any challenge there? Or, is that something that you guys just look at based on?
Yeah, that's a good question, Chris. Typically like a mixed use property where it's like a live work, something like that may be a challenge for us from a marketability perspective. So, best to kind of give your professional a call, right? Call Chris, call myself, and we can walk through that file together for sure.
Absolutely. And then the home assistance program, can you just high level tell me about that?
Yeah, for sure. So our homeowner assistance program, if you don't know about it, it is definitely something to educate your customers on if you know they're going to be high ratio. This homeowner assistance program comes along with the cost of your mortgage insurance premium. So anybody who's insured with Sagen has access to this program for the life of the mortgage, so not just the term. And it really protects homeowners against any short-term financial hardship. And we often call these like the natural delinquencies of life. So things like maybe a marital breakdown, maybe an illness, or maybe a job loss. Anything that's going to potentially impact your ability to make your mortgage payments. Sagen's homeownership team at our head office, they're able to work with those customers one-on-one to help them stay in their home. At the end of the day, that's our goal. So how we help them make their mortgage payments, that really depends on the customer. It's a tailored solution depending on their situation. And again, we have a team of experts that are really dedicated to this program. So I think it's a really good one, especially since the tough couple years we've had, Chris. I mean, people are looking for some sort of just knowledge that, there's help for them if they do need it in future.
Thanks to you. I mean, you've been in the industry. I know you've been an underwriter as well, so you can kind of talk to all the different types of files that you see come your way, which is helpful for especially someone like myself. Like I said earlier, realtors as well, any homeowner that's coming in, definitely an advantage for them as well. Where can somebody go, like just if they wanted to get more information about Sagen?
I love our website. So sagen.ca is such a great resource for any industry professional. So have a look there if you're looking for more information on any of the products that we talked about today. Or even if you're looking for your local Sagen account manager. So I look after parts of the GTA for Sagen. But if you're located in a different market and you wanted to get in contact with someone who knows your market and your regional account manager, that information is there for you as well. So sagen.ca, really, really great resource for any professional.
I use it all the time. So thank you for sharing. A lot of times when these products change and things that go on, it's nice to kind of get like a refresher as well, but definitely a good resource center. I definitely recommend everyone to at least take a peek at some point in time. There's always something that you'll take away from it. And you'll also be able to learn a little bit more of how these products and programs can help you moving in the future to purchase more properties.
Yeah, exactly. I love it, Chris. That's so great. Thank you for everything that you do and for the chat today.
No, thank you as well. Thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it all. Like I said, if there's any information, please go to sagen.com, formerly Jen Worth. It's been such a pleasure, Ivy, to have you on today. I'm hoping we can do this again at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll be on a stage the next time. Who knows? It won't be just over Zoom. We'll be outside at least, or we'll be in the office of some sort. And maybe we can do something live at that point. So I look forward to it.
I'm game for sure. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, Ivy. Thanks so much. And we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.